whoa, 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 whoa. P to the P to the A to the IRS. That's up. We're gonna play this. Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Ryan Sierra. We're playing pairs and we're playing Kitten Pink, and this is the last arc slash route. For a second, the whole universe stops, and it's just me and the heat and noise of chaos embracing me like an old friend. Resisting the urge to take a peek at the damage, I lean against the wall, letting out an annoyed sigh. And all this because I wanted to get you some flowers. As usual, the humans get up in arms when you take their things without giving them the little papers they seem to enjoy exchanging. On their little broadcasts, they call it stealing. Huh. Everyone knows this planet is as good as ours, so how can it be stealing if everything I take will eventually be mine? Approaching footsteps put me on alert. Pulling a short, thick cylinder from my belt, I twist the handle and watch the shock staff elongate, a wicked crackle of electricity shivering up my arm harmlessly. Here's an interesting thing. Is she delusional? Here would be an interesting plot twist. Okay, so here's an interesting plot twist, right? This is the last arc we're gonna play. If they drop like a truth bomb on me that completely like retroactively changes everything I've done thus far, I would love that. Because here's the deal. There is the Hero Academy with Ricardo and Carmelita, and there is James feeling like he's like not up to snuff to date this girl in his own arc. But like, and there's mention of a dad that we never see from Kitten Pink. Or Noiya is her name? What's her name? Is it Noiya? Wait, it's Kitten Pink currently. Okay. But like, the thing is, what if like, it's not actually like as big of a deal? I run my fingers down the long, slender handle, clutching the center grip with a practiced hand. Here, here, little kitty. The sniveling voice of one of their soldier croons from the building above me, thick with condescension. Oh, so someone wants to play? I activate the recorder on my robotic assistant, daring him to speak again. Don't hide, I've just got a little present for you. Gotcha. His identity quickly pops up on the golden band on my wrist. ID tag, Mercury, status, natural. Warning, poisonous in nature, known for kiss of death. So, you like to play with poisons, do you? I've got an antidote that I don't think you'll like. I reach out, preparing to smash the staff into the wall and already relishing the crunch of his bones after his inevitable fall from the roof. I can't wait to watch the walls crumble when a siren wails in the distance. It's a sound I know well. You've got to be kidding me. I couldn't get the flowers, I couldn't get revenge, and they dared run away with their tails between their legs when we've barely just begun? Unacceptable! I wind my arm back anyway when a calm automated voice speaks into my earpiece. Princess, your anger levels will alert the humans of your presence. It is recommended that you relate yourself immediately. This is your first warning. Right. I'd almost forgotten. Nayans are flawless warriors, but it is true that we tend to burn hotter than humans do when we get emotional, which, unfortunately, makes us notoriously easy to detect. If I have a meltdown here, it would cause much more trouble than it's worth. Namely, Daddy would be angry at me. Again. I press my back against the wall. I've got to think of something, and fast. Think of something calming, think of something exciting. I mean, she's got to calm herself down, so like this. So, I mean, this seems narratively logical, because she's the kind of girl that's just, you know, she's a thrill seeker, you know? She likes roller coasters, you know? But I want to calm down. I want to calm down. Lowering my arms, I shut my eyes and think of something to calm myself down. My first thoughts wandered to Mercury, that presumptuous snipe, daring to speak to me with such impunity. I can just hear it, the sound of Mercury's agonized screams as I melted him down, piece by boring piece. Yes. Haha, isn't it so funny? That noise? Thanks. I know where I am. It's a quiet corner of the city, the kind of area that's still outside of the designated battle zones. Oh. For now, anyway. I set off towards the shop and Mel chimes in my ear again. What is it now? Your father wishes to speak with you. Daddy? I groan. Yes, we are going to make her sound like Veronica from Riverdale. Put him through.
Look, Noiya, where are you?
So is this supposed to be some kind of like Gamora, Nebula, Thanos thing? Like Noiya, I wrinkle my nose. I hate when he calls me by my full name. Daddy, didn't you promise to call me Kit? She was really about to be like, didn't you promise to call me Kitten? I'm sorry, that's a derogatory term on Discord. Okay,
oh, hey, wee, oh, wee, oh, wee. I have tolerated your obsession with the human naturals long enough. You do not need an ID tag like those to engage in war with them.
But...
No objections. Just because I tolerate the ridiculous name the humans have given me does not mean I will allow it to infect you too. Now where are you?
I try not to let the pout creep into my voice too much. In queue?
Very well. I need to speak with you about an important matter.
Isn't this so much fun? I feel like Slipknot.
I expect you back on board before the Sun Revolution concludes this day.
Yes, Daddy.
Goodbye, Noiya. Be safe.
Wow, he literally just called her like a... The nickname makes me smile, but his advice makes me wary. Be safe? What a strange thing to say. I shrug my shoulders, dropping my arm. No need to hear Mel chiming away when I've got James's voice to look forward to. I set off towards the shop. James! At the sound of my voice, James stiffens, then lets out a breath. Kitten? I feel a prick in my chest, but I try not to dwell on it too much. After all, it's not like I could expect that much from a human. Our people are at war, after all. Checking his watch, James goes to the door and locks it, then draws the blinds closed. Look at you, on time for once. I just wasn't held up this time, is all. He lifts an eyebrow, then clicks on the screen mounted on the wall. A news report greets us.
4 people have been injured in what appears to be an attack from the unknown alien.
I switch it off. Okay, fine, I wasn't held up that badly, but they didn't even get a clear shot of me. I think it'll be alright. You flipped a flower truck? You flipped a flower truck? I wanted to bring you flowers! Noiya, I told you before. I know. Gifts aren't necessary. He looks like he wants to say something more, but stops when he sees my pouting expression. I'd been busy making arrangements to get away, and he isn't at all grateful. I let out a small sigh. This isn't at all the reunion I imagined. His little communicator lights up on the table, but he doesn't notice as he reaches for the remote to turn off the screen. James, your little... The communicator is bright. I think someone is trying to contact you. He glances at it in surprise. Oh, it's May. I told her not to call me around this time. Must be important. I'll be right back. I have to take this. He leaves me alone, not waiting for a reply from me.
I remember when we were experiencing it from his point of view.
James, I need you to close your eyes. He looks at me warily. Come on, don't make me close them for you. James's eyes meet mine, but he decides against saying anything. He shuts his eyes, muttering under his breath. I'm just hoping it doesn't explode like those. It won't. Don't worry, I checked this time. I try not to feel huffy. How was I supposed to know that reacts so violently with Earth's atmosphere? Ooh. I pull out a blue ring. These ones sparkle at night, and these will change your eye color. It only lasts for a few seconds, but it's pretty cool, right? James hesitates at first before reaching into the box and pulling out one of the desserts. Are these from your planet? My planet? Well, yes and no. They're from my planet now, so I guess so. Daddy deposed their king ages ago, and I've been dying to go there, but I had to wait until the rebellions fizzled down. Anyway, they gave him these, and he gave them to me, and now I'm sharing them with you. James stares at the snacks, then meets my eyes, looking at me with a perturbed expression. Kitten, aren't you ever bothered by what King Chaos does to other planets? I think about it for a moment, popping one of the sweets into my mouth. The sweets make my vision tint blue for a moment, then goes back to normal. Bothered by the very thing my father was born to do, that I was born to do? See, this is the fascinating thing, because with a question like this, obviously this is like narratively sensical. But I mean, I've got the fucking god hand to fucking twist her wrist narratively and have her a little introspective, so why not? Well, sometimes, I guess. James perks up, leaning forward with interest. Really? Because I would have thought, well, you know. I can't help being bothered that he's out there conquering worlds, especially because he does it without me. James's eyes widen in surprise. You mean, I want to become a great empress too, valued by the Nyan court, but... Oh, that's what you mean. His words barely register. I imagine returning home to... James closes the box, then returns the smile for a brief moment. The box with the blue ring in it that made her...
Made her what? Go what?
It disappears when he checks the clock on the wall, though. You've got to go. It's almost time for me to reopen the shop. People won't believe I'm away buying flour forever, you know. Yeah, I know. I throw my arms around him, my cheek against his chest. Secretly, I know I hug him this way because if his arms were free, he might not hug me back, but I try not to think such dark thoughts and imagine the day his arms would wrap around mine. I'll miss being with you like this when the invasion ends. James looks at me as though he wants to say something, then shuts his mouth. He finally speaks, resting his chin on my forehead for a brief moment before I let him go. I can't wait until this invasion is over, either. I beam at him, then I glance down at Mel. Then I look to the left. Then I lie in my pod, seeking sleep but failing. My conversation with Daddy haunts me like a bad dream I can't wake up from.
Noiya, we're going back to Venori. Noiya, we're going back to Venori.
Back to Venori. Back to Venori. But I don't want to go back to Venori. A strange burning sensation bubbles in my nose, makes my eyes itch. It's unpleasantly a familiar feeling. Am I distressing? I squeeze my eyes shut, willing the feelings to go away. Full-grown Nyans don't distress. Such a thing is for the newborns who couldn't use their words or fists to express their feelings. And I am not a helpless Nyling. I punch the roof of the pod, using my anger to fuel my fists, but it doesn't help. No matter how many times I hit it, I can still feel the pain in my chest. What the fuck is that word? The sealant glass cracks, forcing me to stop. For the first time in my life, I feel hopeless. Join the club, girl. Daddy, you can't be serious. Nyans don't lose. We don't retreat.
Your dedication to this venture is commendable as always, Noiya, truly. I am proud of the warrior spirit you possess, but I must be frank. Those humans there are determined to protect this world with all of their might. As our forefathers say, a wild world should not be tamed. A determined world will not. The advisory council all agrees. Any planet with such valiant protectors needn't be conquered. We will withdraw from this galaxy within an Earth-Moon's revolution, and you will be on board, waiting to depart with the others.
But, Daddy...
Noiya, please, listen to me. I know you wish to stay, but let this be a lesson to you as well. You are a fine fighter, even with your hindrance. Let yourself become an even finer warrior with this piece of wisdom. Know when it is honorable to retreat.
Yes, Daddy. I cringe, thinking back on my silence. Oh, cringe. Why is it so hard to let go of that which belongs to me? James is my favorite, by far the most enjoyable human I've ever dealt with, but I can't be allowed to keep him. It's so unfair. This is so fascinating because, like, she's, like, obviously entitled, right? Like, she's very expectant and, like, arrogant, but, like, it completely just defines her in a very salient way. Like, it's not like she's just having a mood. Like, you can't call this girl entitled, because you would just destroy her worldview, you know? This is the girl, this is what, like, boomers think millennials are like.
I have a query, Princess.
Yes?
How do you classify James as a toy when you rarely play with him?
Is he not more akin to your claimed? No, he's definitely just... I fall silent. Mel is right. James never wanted to play with me in the first place, but I'm the one who kept on insisting until he agreed to be mine. Maybe James will be glad to be free of me. I don't want to leave unless I know he'll miss me when I go, Mel. Is that not more cruel, Princess? I snort. The humans call us by worse names, at least it won't be anything new. But, Princess, do you not want James to think of you differently? The question is piercing enough that even though I try, I can't find an answer easily. I'm going to sleep, Mel. Yes, Princess. I roll over on my side, thinking about James. He accepted the gift from earlier, didn't he? I'm certain that something between us could change. I imagine the scene from earlier today, how it should have gone. In my mind's eye, James takes the gift from my hands, peering inside curiously. He looks at me in awe, then drops to his knees worshipfully. Please, I see that I was completely blinded by my own human failure. I look at... Wait, it's... by my own human failure. I look at him leniently, smile. Benevolent as I am, I accept your faults, of course, but I make this request. Yes, anything. You will give your complete allegiance and obey only me. Anything less is insubordination and will not be tolerated under threat of death. Do you understand? He lowers his forehead, presses it into the ground in complete submission. If only. I mean, you know, hey, you can do that, provided, you know, some prerequisites are accomplished first. I'm trying to say BDSM. It's a kink. It's a BDSM. It's early morning. I'm sitting in one of those human parks, contemplating my options. I need some kind of plan if I really want to move forward with James, and the ship has been too noisy ever since the Force started the breakdown for departure. A loud voice interrupts my meditation. Go back to Mars! I look up at the offender. Even an imbecile knows that Mars is much too cold to be enjoyable for any Nyan. It's a small, harmless little creature sneering at me in an attempt to rouse some kind of reaction. Unfortunately, I want to use as much of my thinking towards what I'll do with the issues at hand. Can't you say I'm occupied? I don't have time to play with you right now. Leave me. The creature spews some kind of liquid at me. I watch unmovingly as the glob lands right beside my shoe. I don't understand the purpose of attacking with such a weak wet expulsion. Poor aim aside, it's not even acidic. That's what I think of you. I don't care what day you're on. Take your space garbage out of here and leave us neutrals alone. Wow, is she really neutral? Aha, yes, I imagine that's being telegraphed here. You freaks can take them all with you too. Naturals, artificials, just you whole lot. Her gibberish is only vaguely distracting. I consider disintegrating her then and there so I can get some peace, but... Unfortunately, I left my atom rifle at home. Pity. I stand instead, taking comfort in the way I tower over her lithe little frame. I command you to leave this place. If you refuse to comply, I will be sure to peel your skin from your bones, layer by layer, limb by limb, and atom by atom, until there is nothing left of you to waste my time. Murder me? That's your alternative? I knew it! You're all a bunch of murderers anyway! Regardless of what I choose to do with you, when I'm finished, you will not disturb me any longer. She eyes me with a hostile stare, surprising me. Most humans would have run, but this one seems different. Huh. Let me maybe make a choice off screen, and then maybe reload if that choice is actually really, like, bad. The moment my fingers touch the whip, I hear someone call my name. Noiya! Ryan! Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Ryan Sierra. This is Pairs. We're on part 11. And we picked the choice where we were gonna try to hurt the lady. But obviously that doesn't happen, because this isn't that kind of game. This is not that kind of story. You fool! James? I turn at the sound of his voice, almost startled. He runs up beside me, looking warily between us. The woman eyes him snarkily. This thing is yours. You should get a leash. James freezes for a moment. Bite me. Further away from the disturbance, I look at James, shooting him a curious glance. What are you doing here? What are you doing here? You're out in the open. Isn't that, dangerous? What if someone recognizes you? I wave a dismissive hand. Usually I get a few stares, but most people ignore me. To them, all Nayans look the same. James looks disturbed, so I try to comfort him. Don't worry. I'm confident that I could take on any human. I have a limit of probably 5 or 6 humans at one time, but she was only one. I didn't feel like fighting her, but she was so insistent that she almost got vaporized for her trouble. He looks at me wryly, snorting a laugh. I know you're not joking, which I feel like should worry me, but honestly, I have a feeling that I would have had the urge to vaporize her too. Too bad you didn't get a chance to. What stopped you? Noiya! You, actually. He looks at me with a strange expression on his face, then shifts a little closer to me on the bench. Me, huh? His arm presses against mine. Strange, perhaps he does not notice how close he is. You shouted my name suddenly. Is a Nyan looking at her claimed that strange? Claimed? Well, what do you call it, this type of bonding? Forza Horizon 4! That's what I call it, actually. I have just one question, little boy. Why did you tell that human to bite you? What sense is it to request pain? Is it not better to bite her instead? James looks at me wide-eyed, then bursts out laughing. Sometimes, you're really... Looking into my eyes, he trails off, then clears his throat. I have to go back to work. Sorry, but... Oh, I almost forgot to ask again. Do you have anything like this? He holds out the little rectangle I often see him, his communicator. A communicator or something that can pick up human communicator signals? Either. Of course. Good. There's this thing called a phone number, and it's a way to contact me directly. I want to give you mine so you don't always have to keep bursting in the shop whenever you want to, but... You have to make me a promise. Nyans don't make blind promises. First, the terms. You have to promise me that for the rest of your time on Earth, you won't fight anyone anymore. Anyone? He looks at me seriously. But... Oh no, I'm going lazy-eyed again. I protest weakly, but in reality the promise is all too easy to make. My hours on this planet are numbered anyway. Fine. Damn, that's like a face that is saying fine, too. It almost looks like they caught her saying fine. That was suspiciously easy, but... Nyans do keep promises, don't they? We do. He hands me a piece of paper. Good. If you can figure out a way to connect us together, then do it. I have someplace I want to take you, but it's at a specific time. If you call me before then, I'll definitely take you there. Oh, I remember this from his perspective with his... The shop is already closed when I arrive. Oh, early again. He looks so much like this character from this other visual novel that I want to play. His lips twist upwards in a smile. And look at that, no news report this time. I cross my arms. I made a promise, didn't I? I haven't even set so much as a single fire. So you haven't? He trails off thoughtfully, rubbing his neck. I peer at him carefully. Do you want to sit down? We have a few more minutes until the sun sets. I can't read him. He seems strangely disingenuous, and I don't like it. Usually he's more straightforward, but ever since he gave me the phone number, James has been acting bizarre. Not just that, but he'd asked me to wear something special, and he himself is dressed strangely and smells different. Not bad, just different. I pull out a chair as he pulls out his own, sitting across from me. I noticed that you figured out texting. Nice. It's hard to fight back the little grin, but I put my hand on my hip triumphantly, thrusting up my chin. The little pictures you can send with the words are truly excellent. Very retro. James blinks in surprise. Retro, huh? He looks over tentatively as I take my seat. No gift this time? He's right, I didn't bring one. Reserving one, usually... Damn! I don't know which one to pick, dog. I lean my elbows on the table, glaring away huffily. If I did, you'd just make a fuss again. Honestly, humans are so high maintenance. Okay, this seems like the bad choice, but was that other one better? Literally me being like, "You think you're deserving of one, you little bitch!" Like, what? His eyes wide, he stares at me unblinkingly, seemingly stunned into silence. What? Does the truth shock you? I've never thought of myself as high maintenance before. Come again? Picky eaters, inexperienced, backwards, never seen more than a meteor shower, but act like it's the best thing since when, actually? I'm sorry, what? I said that all you act like meteor showers are the I said that you all act like meteor showers are the best thing since... He tilts his head. Maybe I'm missing something, but you just made an unintelligible noise. I don't even know how your mouth managed. He looks sincere, but I can't help but flick my ears in frustration. While Mel's translating is nearly perfect, it doesn't get everything. I purse my lips thoughtfully. I've always known that some Noiyan phrases couldn't quite be translated, but who knew that there isn't a word for in your language? How cool? Another strike against you. Only one set of vocal cords, so there isn't a human across the planet that could even speak Noiyan adeptly. I honestly don't know why I stick around. I fall silent. If I let these human frustrations get the better of me, nothing good could come of it. At best, James would end up disliking me, and at worst... I try not to frown. I honestly couldn't think of anything worse than that. In my silence, James speaks, seeming to sense my dark mood. Who knew you could be so introspective? It doesn't really suit you. I think the you who kicks down doors and tries her best to be ornery is the best you there is. I think there was a compliment in there. Well, you could concentrate on the kicking down the doors bit. Lots of nice leg action there. I blink at him. Do you notice my legs, then? What? My legs. You said the focal point of the compliment was about my legs, but I did not understand, hence my asking you directly, what do you think of them? I stand, looking down at him. He blinks at me, wide-eyed. Oh, well, His eyes flit down for the briefest of moments before returning to meeting mine. How can you assess so quickly? That was hardly even a glance. Look at my legs! Look at them! Look at them! Get a good look! Oh, suck them up with your ocular... I scan the site. It's full of various pictures of a group of heroes I've never seen before, engaging in border skirmishes on the atmospheric edges of Noiyan bases. I look at him, surprised. He avoids my eyes. This is the kind of stuff my sister's into. She's what does she call it? He thinks for a long moment, then gives up. I admit, I don't remember the name of it, but she runs some kind of fan site for pre-debut heroes, like a hero groupie. And why does this concern us? It's not exactly a cause for concern, just embarrassing, and maybe a little weird. I mean, I'm not exactly rooting for Noiyan rule either, but I don't know. I have a feeling that if she found out, May would freak. She'd probably report you to the WPP or something. I don't know really how I'd break it to her that I'm dating the heir to the Earth's greatest threat. I guess I'm just hoping that it somehow doesn't bother you. So he does? So May would hate Kitten Pink? James lets out an uneasy laugh. Stupid, right? I mean, of course he wouldn't care about something like this. His eyes search for my face or something. My face! My reaction, my approval. It's disconcerting. James never sought my opinion for, well, anything.
Damn!
I blink at him. If something happened to me, Daddy would intervene.
Intervene?
Daddy can...
Oh, wait, I remember. He's got that reality warping ability, right? You mentioned it once.
His voice is thoughtful.
It's crazy. Couldn't he just reality warp us all into submission? Make us lose key battles or something?
I look at him blankly. It's dishonorable to use in warfare. Such a thing takes no strength and thus is completely useless. Everyone knows that. I tilt my head curiously. Why are you asking about all of this? He hums and haws, not really responding. I straighten. Wait, are you concerned for my safety? He's... quiet? Am I correct?
Something like that, yes.
I sit on the bench, waiting in the darkness for the yellow star to rise. James has already left hours ago, the glow of our night leaving me with deep satisfaction and deeper regrets. I can't sleep. The Earth days are much too short for me to feel comfortable enough to rest again, and I don't want to go back to the ship. It's all been hustle and bustle as the units prepare for departure. I bridge my fingers. I bridge my fingers thinking. I bridge my fingers thinking. The first ship of arbitrators has already arrived. Daddy's been busy every day meeting with them to draft the first of many peace treaties that the humans will accept. It's so close. Mel?
Awaiting commands, Princess.
How many days until we're due for departure in local time?
16 cycles of the Earth Sun, Princess.
16 more days. 16 more days until I'm back in Venori.
Affirmative.
A flare of anger hissing up my spine. I pull Mel off my wrist and wind my arm back, preparing to throw it with all of my might. But somehow I can't. The one I'm really angry at is myself. I lower my arm reluctantly. I have to tell him, don't I? The muffled sound of Mel's voice vibrates against the palm of my hand.
Affirmative, Princess. That is the recommended course of action.
I squeeze my eyes shut as a wave of heat shudders across my skin. I can't think about it. I'll overheat. Fiddling with the comm bracelet on my wrist, I let out a sigh. Take me home, Mel. My ears pick up on the normal ringing, the sound that tells me that, in moments, I'll be back in the barracks.
Princess.
The noise stops abruptly.
Receiving incoming transmission. Accept?
Who is it?
It is the Emperor.
I sit up. Patch him through.
Noiya, where are you?
I'm on Earth, in Quadrant...
You're in Q, aren't you?
Well, there were just a few more things I wanted to see before I go. There's this beautiful sunrise, and...
Excuses. It is a beautiful planet, so appreciating Earth's surface is understandable. But every night, and those clothes, what are you wearing? Where is the headdress I had synthesized for you?
I fall silent, dread coming over me. We won't have much time left here, so I just thought I'd trail off under my father's stern glare. You already know about him?
Yes, I know. What were you thinking, claiming a human? This entire endeavor was reckless. I know you were smarter than this, but I made the mistake of thinking you were wiser as well.
He lets out a breath.
This is what you will do. You will relinquish your claim on the boy. I don't care what you've been telling him. From this day on, he is not your claimed, or whatever silly fantasies you've been filling his head with.
But Daddy!
You will return to the ship, and you will report back to Venori in 3 solid cycles. No more, no less.
No more, no less. No more, no less. Yeah. Well, a spell. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to part 12, the final part of Pairs. I'm Ryan Sierra. And we actually have the choice of saying demand more time or inform him that I'm staying on Earth. Now, as I recall, James's ending was that we just ended up we ended up getting into Kitten Pink's space pod to meet her dad. So she was kind of leaving anyway, wasn't she? So isn't it demand more time? Boy, and I mean, what if he just goes Thanos if we pick this decision? You know what I mean? What if he is oh, he won't get off the Earth? Then I'll fucking destroy it. You know, demand more time. Goodness. Let's see what happens if we pick this. How shitty, how confrontational is this? No, Daddy. I'm staying here until the last ship leaves this galactic territory. You will not force me to leave like a common foot soldier. Daddy doesn't respond at first. He shuts his eyes, pinching the bridge of his nose.
I should have never brought you along on this campaign.
The simple sentence sends a stabbing pain through my chest. The simple sentence sends a stabbing pain... Okay. I don't mean to, but I let out an unrestrained gasp. Daddy, how could you say that?
I say it because clearly these humans have had a bad influence on you. You've never spoken to me like this before. Sneaking behind my back when you need not. Defying my orders.
His voice is calm with quiet rage.
You ought to be glad I don't erase him here and now. This human, I've watched him and I do not trust him. I am certain he will betray your misplaced trust.
I scoff, crossing my arms. You can't see the future any better than I can, and you may have watched James, but I know him. He wouldn't dare. Daddy is silent. Oh, he's not silent anymore, is he?
You have 7 sun cycles. I don't care what you do in that time, as long as you're on that ship. To Noiya on time, you may act as you wish. But know this.
He speaks slowly and deliberately, his voice cold.
Whatever consequences come of this, I will not change them for you.
It's been 5 days and I haven't been back to Earth. Daddy only gave me a week, so I've decided no choice but to spend the last few days packing and collecting samples to take back to Noiya with me. I look down at the swirling planet out my observatory check. I'm running out of time. Even I know that a week means nothing more and nothing less. If I defy him, I risk James being erased completely. And now there's only 2 days left. I should go. Mel, take me down.
Yes, Princess.
Call James for me, Mel?
Warning. It is 2 hours and 57 minutes past midnight. Humans are generally sleeping during this time. Do you still want to make this call?
Oh, isn't this the part where he's like waiting for her to like text back or whatever? Yeah. Even if he hates me, we need to talk. It rings for a few seconds, then...
Hello?
James?
Kitten? What is it?
Oh god, ew. He called her the Discord name.
I need to speak with you. There's silence on the other end.
3 in the morning?
It's urgent, so yes. He mutters something under his breath.
Seriously? Fine, whatever. Where are you?
Clark Park.
Clark Park. Clark Park.
Clark Park. This really can't wait until tomorrow?
No.
Not even, say, 5 more hours?
Why is... James is like a dick from everyone else's perspective except his, like... Not even. He lets out a sigh.
Fine. On my way.
I'll send you my location. The phone clicks as he hangs up, leaving me waiting at the bench, wondering if he'll really come. Noiya. James approaches the bench, his eyes watery with exhaustion. There you are. What did... He yawns. What did I miss? Perfect timing. I sit up stiffly on the bench. I want to look at him, but I worry that I'll lose my resolve if our eyes meet. I have something to tell you. You should sit. James stares at me for a long moment, then slowly lowers himself into the seat beside me. First, I would like to confess something to you. He smirks, keeping his voice light. I think you've done that plenty of times. Otherwise we wouldn't be where we are now. I smile back. Yes, I was definitely a sight back then. My personal favorite is when you made all of the shop's TVs come on with that video on repeat. I couldn't turn it off. James Zhang, in the name of Earth's celestial bodies, I demand you bow your heart to me. That's the one. I had to convince everyone it was a prank. He barks out a laugh. I'm lucky no one reported it to the World Protection Program. Haha. We both chuckle at the memory, but I end up sighing, turning toward him. Well, I have one more confession to add to the pile. I'm listening. In roughly 2 weeks, the Nines will be withdrawing from Earth space. The war will come to an end. Immediately, the expression on James's face changes. He tries again, shocked speechless the first time. I don't understand. You humans. I mean, humans often think in black and white, and sometimes they think of gray, but you have no concept of Nine morality. You think of us as soulless conquerors, but we only conquer the lone, weak universe. But why? What is it all for? There are bigger threats in the universe than the Nyan Empire. Even we do not know the full scope of what lies in the endless, inky darkness. We intend to prepare the vast planetary swaths among the stars by engaging them in battle, but... Your people are already strong. Daddy says that... He says that with the kind of strength your naturals possess, there is no need to take this planet under our oversight. James looks at me blankly. You mean... the war is really going to be over? I flash him a cheeky smile, trying to hide my pain. It will, with the humans as victor. As such, I, too, will be departing from Earth space and returning to Venori, my home planet. This means something will be changing for you as well. James stares at me in shock. Oh yeah, didn't we want him to return with us? Simply said, it is expected that you will be returning with me. It's a lie, of course, but Daddy won't get mad at me for sneaking him onto the ship, will he? He did say that to prepare anything I wanted to bring. James stares at me like I've lost my meteors. I can't go with you to Venori. Why not? What about May? She's only 15 and she can't be left alone. You plan on bringing her too, don't you? Puberty is crazy enough without moving entire planets. I just can't uproot her like that. Oh, I forgot about May. I deflate, my words faltering. Mel, how did I get here? Okay, so apparently she went crazy, and then James took a hold of her wristwatch, Mel, and made it transport them up to the ship. So that's wild.
James Zhang, I granted him emergency authorized use to transport you aboard the ship.
Well, that explains me. What about him?
He was insistent on coming along for the ride and would not let go of you. I had no choice but to transport you both.
He held on to me, even though I was burning.
Affirmative, Princess.
Also, wow, I thought the game was going to end on a bad note there. Do we still have a chance to make this a good ending? I flinch. Does Daddy know?
I had not alerted him.
But that doesn't mean he doesn't know. I look at him wordlessly. This man. Have I misjudged him, Mel?
I do not know, Princess.
I stare at his sleeping form, not sure what to think. Mel, is it possible? Do I have his love? Could it be possible that he's actually fallen in love with me?
I do not know, Princess.
I want it to be true. I think that more than loyalty, a human's love. I trail off. Not a human's love. James's love. James's love would be nice. I lay back down in my pod and shut the roof, pressing my hand against the cushioned side. I can see his silhouette lying on the floor. The silence lulls me to sleep. Oya. Noiya. No. Noiya! I wake up to James shaking me frantically by the shoulders. Stop! He freezes, then drops his arms. Take me back. James doesn't even wait until I've gotten out of the pod to speak, his voice flat. He stares at me with an expression I can't quite read. James, I need to get back. I need to get back to Earth, back to May right now. Incensed that he dared try to rush me, I sneer at him. Are humans so weak that they cannot spend a day without their nilings underfoot? Underfoot? His expression darkens. I knew it was a good decision to make sure she never met you. You still don't know anything about humans, do you? Well, this is the bad ending, I guess. We're different from you, but I think you can at least understand something as basic as this. I love my sister. I want to keep her safe. Have you ever wanted to keep anyone safe in your selfish, destructive life? His words bite me raw in a place I never knew I had.
The clitoris?
Okay, so I'm gonna... Shit! Fuck me! I was gonna pick the other answer. Okay, so... On the assumption, anyway, that other route, where I said you'll return with me, was, bad, right? Because he just got nasty with us at the end there. Let us say this. Our union must be dissolved. James looks at me expectantly, but I can barely get the words out. Our union must be... As I search for the words, James stares at me. He doesn't say anything, but slowly his face starts turning pink. This is kind of sudden, you know. I don't think I'm ready to... Dissolved. Oh, wait, what? I'm relinquishing my claim on you. I'll return to Venori alone. James stares at me, his mouth opening and closing with ghost words, but nothing to say. Is that what a ghostwriter writes? A ghostwriter writes ghost words? If he wasn't awake before, he is now. How long do we have? How much time? 3 days. Resting my hand on my thighs, I move to stand. That is all. I know I have interrupted your rest cycle, so... James grabs my arm. Don't run away. His urgent reaction sends a shiver up my back. I jerk my arm as a heat wave that feels suspiciously like distress shivers up my back, but he doesn't let go. It takes everything I have, but I force myself to gently uncurl his fingers from off my arm. You can't just drop a bomb like this and leave. We need to talk. Wait, what? We're here again? Wait, are we getting... Hold on. Hold on. I never usually do this on screen, but I'm gonna click through a little bit to see if we're getting, like, the same stuff. Are we really Wait, we're getting the same kind of... We're getting the same thing? Oh my god, but I picked, like, a different choice. I reach out again, and in that moment, James wakes up. He blinks at me, then stares at my hand. I pull away quickly. Oh, this is something else. Wait, Yo! Okay, so a second ago, I had to pick that I was hoping for his loyalty or his love, but apparently now I'm getting new dialogue and new narration, because you remember he woke up before because, like, we, like, jerked him up or something, or he did that to us. This is going to be a new scene, and it was not because of the choice we made because of love or loyalty one, but because of the one before where I decided just to let him go. Oh wow, that's some like big major visual novel choice design right there, like Grisaya or something like that. James. Noiya. When he stares at me, it's like my whole body's burning, but it's a very different kind of heat. I stand abruptly. We need to get back to Earth. I'm sure May is worried about you. James sits up, rubbing his eyes. Yeah, we should. I help him out of the pod, then step forward to embrace him in the usual way. This time, though... Is it possible? Before we go... I wrap my arms around him and lean my head against his chest. Thank you for saving me. I'm sorry for overreacting. James relaxes in my arms, maybe for the first time. Then, abruptly, he stiffens. Maybe out of shock, maybe out of surprise, maybe out of revulsion. I can't understand him. Maybe that's okay. Noiya, I have something to tell you. He pushes back gently on my shoulders, taking a step back. I want to tell you why I agreed to be claimed. He takes a deep breath, his eyebrows scrunched together. We talked about a lot of things that night we went stargazing, so I don't know if you remember what I told you about my parents, but when we initially dated, I thought that maybe there was a chance that your dad could bring them back. I don't mean to, but I take a step back, then another. The thought doesn't seem to fully compute. You agreed because of Daddy? A wave of feelings come over me, hurt, disgust, some of them I can't even name, and then strangely they all melt into one and settle into resignation. I take a seat. So there wasn't anything about me that you found appealing? I trail off. Of course not, but I don't want to hear him say whatever he's thinking about me anyway. I feign being aloof. Well, I guess it's best to find out now rather than go home thinking that you might actually miss me. But Noiya, listen. I stand, clapping my hand over his mouth. It's okay, really. I always suspected there was a reason. I just wrongly thought it was curiosity, or maybe because you feared me. But all in all, I think it doesn't matter what the real reason turned out to be. The outcome is still the same for us. Tell you what, I'll ask Daddy if he can bring your parents back as a parting gift. I think that for all my human experiences, I had a lot of fun with you. I pull my hands away from his mouth and try my best not to look him in the eyes as I shuffle through the pods blanketing to find my visor. I could just as easily tell Mel to take us down remotely, but these minutes trickling away are few. I just need a few more moments with him. Really? Yes. But... James puts his hand on my shoulder to stop me. What will happen to us? Excuse me? In the alternate universe or whatever, if my parents are back, then that means everything will change, doesn't it? What happens to me and you? He gestures. To this. Nothing. There won't be an us. Every universe has its own strange combination of events that led to something specific happening, like us being together in this one. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. King Chaos is basically the visual novel author. I get it. Haha. Unless I specifically ask to forget, I would sense the shift automatically, pretty much because I'm Daddy's blood. You, on the other hand, won't remember me, and by extension, anything about us at all. Oh. When Daddy shifts, there are no guarantees. Not that you'll know me at all, or that you'll love me. Kitten? Sorry, it's nothing. I was upset about it before, but even I know when to admit defeat. This planet is strong in more than one way, and I want you to succeed. James stares at me in disbelief. So you're not angry? I shrug. You don't want to beat me up, or... Why would I do that? If you were still my claimed, maybe I could be obliged to express that anger, but that is not the Nine way. Oh, wow. That's... the fuck? Maybe I could have an abusive relationship with you, but now that we're not in a relationship, there's no point in having the abusive part, is there, James? I look at him, standing there with his eyes shut, jaw set, fist clenched, and a rush of something I can't quite name touches me. Affection? Affection. Whatever I'd like, huh? I take a step forward, then another, and I press my mouth directly against his neck. He stays shocked still, until he feels the nip of my teeth grazing his skin lightly. Then, belatedly, he jerks away in shock, his eyes shooting open as he stumbles away from me. Sorry, I know that's not appropriate to do with someone you haven't claimed, but you did say anything. I just wanted one last kiss to remember you by. The Nyan way. Come on, let's go back to Earth. I step toward him, but James steps back. James, stop this. May is waiting for... Who said I wasn't claimed? What do you mean? I just did. And what about you, then? Who said you weren't claimed? And what about her? And them? I open my mouth, then close it, biting my lip. I thought it was clear that I'm going back to Venori. You cannot claim me. Why not? I stare at him. Why can't I claim you? I grit my teeth. Humans are so stubborn. James... You're too bossy, you know. You make decisions about us without even asking me what I think. You do this the Nine way and that the Nine way. Why don't we try the human way for once? I stare at him wide-eyed. The human way? Yes, meaning... He hangs his arms around my neck. His expression is strangely confident. We decide things together. We can even do it democratically, like I make a suggestion and you vote. Okay. He pauses. Just one thing first, though. I have to say I'm sorry. I didn't think you would be happy with me if I told you the real reason I started this whole mess. Except I started this whole mess. Even Daddy said it was unwise for me to take claim of a human, and even if you started it, Noiya, I didn't have to accept. Wouldn't the me from back then have let you say no? Touché. Even so, Noiya, I don't think I'm with you for the same reason I started out. It makes me sound terrible, but I started looking forward to you coming by the shop every day, even after you broke that window display. It was always crazy, and some of those gifts were wild, but thanks anyway. I don't know what he's getting at. You're welcome. If the memories aren't painful, then you can keep them to remember me by. No. Excuse me? Not to remember you by. To remember you before I see you for the day. I don't want you to leave. So, here's my human suggestion number 1. You stay. And you take responsibility for the mess you've made, going after a human with all you've got and then suddenly ditching. Yay or nay? He insists on my answer, but I protest. But Daddy... We'll figure out what to do about your dad later. Just yay or nay. Do you want to stay or not? He stares into my eyes, a placid look on his face, wrapping my arms around him. I squeeze him tightly against my body. I don't want to let go. I want to stay. He lets out a relieved, shuddery breath and slides my arms from my shoulders to around me, his voice a low murmur. Good. I want you to stay too. Now what? Now we seal the deal. He takes my face into his hands, his eyes trailing down to my lips before flicking to meet mine one last time. The human way.
Kitten Pink route, good ending, going native.
What does that mean? Also, oh my god, okay. Well, there goes all the music. Wait, is there anything in settings? Is there like any cool like a gallery? No? None of that? Well, this was fucking awesome. Alright. Hey everybody, thanks so much for checking out Pears. Hello. pears that fall from the tree and land in your face so you can make smoothies. I love this game. I think this game is so cool. And the art style, the music, the storytelling, the fact we get 4 characters, right? And, you know, it's not super expansive. We're all dealing with the same scene, but that's kind of fascinating. It's a lot like a play. It's very like in a play format, where it's like, it's the same sort of, you know, conflict, but being told 4 different ways, you know? I dig this. I dig this. This is a very, very simple, very just casual, fun visual novel. It's obviously not as, like, you know, heavy and deep and, like, you know, wildly huge and expansive as, let's say, like Fall Streak or Grisaya or something like that. But that is in no way like a bad thing, and this totally needs more recognition. Like, this is such a good visual novel, and I want the sequel. I want the sequel, damn it! Without further ado, I don't know if I want to so much, like, put the outro to my visual novels that I normally do here, as much as I want to have the music be so boppy and just sing you to sleep. So, let's do that.